Welcome to the EOB Podcast, where we talk about the weekend box office and the new openings this week. I'm Benno, and joining me is Sen Duong. So, Sen, welcome back to another podcast.
Thanks.
Okay, so we did our research a couple of minutes just before this podcast, so that means we are ready. We know just enough to get through this one.
Yeah, I think so.
Right. Okay, so last weekend we have, I think, about 4 wide releases, right? Yeah, with the biggest one being A Wrinkle in Time. Then there's the horror movie, slasher or whatever you call it, Strangers Pray at Night, and then the Hurricane Heist and Gringo. I think we did pretty good on one, but or you did better than me on the new releases. But I think we were off on a couple.
As usual.
That's fine. That's why we do this, right?
Yeah.
And we're not doing this professionally. All right, let's jump right in with the number one movie. It is Black Panther, again, repeating. I think it's for the fourth weekend in a row, pulling in 41 million. I said that, it's going to be a sub 50 drop-off, right? And it is, with a drop-off of only 38% from the previous weekend. And domestic gross right now is 562 million. Worldwide, it crossed 1 billion.
Yeah, it just keeps on rolling along and keeps on breaking records.
Right. Let me check it's still right now at number 2 in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Behind the Avengers.
Just behind.
Right?
Yeah, just behind that. And like we said, it's on track to beat it.
Yeah, Avengers, they were 620, 630?
623.
623?
Yeah, 623.
Yeah, so
Yep.
Let me see, 2 more weeks.
That's fast.
Yeah, in 2 more weeks, it's going to break that record.
Yeah, and I have to remind you that, it is the drop-off from week to week is sub 50s.
Yeah.
Right now it's at 38, it's sub 40s.
Yeah, right. Which is, a great hole for a movie like this that opens so huge.
Right. And we saw that with Wonder Woman, from the previous year, where, week over week, that the drop off is, in the 40% range, some in the 30s as well.
Right.
But, and it went on to make a huge box office.
Yeah.
In my predictions, where I say, Black Panther is probably going to follow, Wonder Woman's trajectory, but I got the opening, wrong by half.
Yeah, like most people did.
Right.
That's what happens when you have a super well-reviewed comic book movie that is a crowd pleaser and does things that is not what's normally done in the comic book universe. I guess in terms of Black Panther is, it just tells its own story. It's not that enamored with just pouring a lot of money into mass mayhem.
Right, and this is a superhero movie that features a predominantly black cast, right? And it broke record that way. It's like, who's the guy, at the Oscars, the host? What's his name?
My brain is just as fried as yours.
Anyway, he did.
Go ahead.
He did that talk show at night. We'll get to him later, but he said that
Jimmy Kimmel.
Oh yeah, okay, Steve Kimmel, right? He said that. Is that Steve Kimmel?
Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel, that's right, Jimmy Kimmel. All right, Jimmy Kimmel. He said that, hey, he remembered a time where, like a black actor, superhero movie won't be able to, generate this huge of a box office, and, he remembered it because it was just last year or last March.
Yeah.
And it's kind of right. It broke barrier, this movie.
Yeah, right. Number 2 is A Wrinkle in Time, pulled in 33.3 million over the weekend. It's another movie that, like Black Panther features a diverse cast, but unlike Black Panther, it kind of disappointed. Even though despite it opening at 33.3 million, there's all the cast involved. It's a material that is based on a classic, A Wrinkle in Time. It stars Oprah Winfrey, Reese Witherspoon, Mindy Kaling, Chris Pine, directed by Ava DuVernay,
who herself is a black director.
Yeah. So I mean, if you look at it as, hey, this movie is based on a novel with a still relatively newish director. it's not bad, but the budget is kind of high. I think it's like over 100 million, and with 33.3 million, they might have a hard time reaching 100 million.
Well, we were kind of right on this movie, right? I said this movie would open to 30 million. You said 25. So we both said in the last podcast, I said, hey, the special effects were there, but it just didn't wow us.
Yeah.
We see all this costume design, but it's just kind of underwhelming.
Right. Yeah, and I guess it kind of did what we had it. I think I think they were hoping for it to do like in the mid 40s, which based on its Friday opening, it could have done. But I think as the weekend went on, the word of mouth wasn't as great. Reviews were not so good, 42% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it just couldn't quite hold on to the audience that it captured on Friday.
Right, and we both felt that because we did our research, right? Probably right before the podcast.
I think we do real time research. We're in with the times. Everything is real time.
Right. We're with the machine learning AI. We don't do we do it right there, right then.
Yeah.
But we were right on these movies. We said that hey, this movie overall in general just underwhelms from the look and feel department. Production design.
Yeah, surprisingly, you know what? Surprisingly, most of the reviews said the look and feel is great. The film looks fantastic. The costume design, everything's great. What they have an issue with is that it was really ambitious, and a lot of that ambition didn't one realized by the end of the film. And so it was just one of these great-looking, ambitious movies that didn't quite satisfy at the end, or didn't quite reach its goal at the end. It's just one of those films that didn't high ambition, didn't quite deliver, and wasn't quite executed to I guess to a satisfying end.
Okay, all right, and unlike Black Panther, I expect A Wrinkle in Time will drop huge the second weekend.
Yeah, the word of mouth isn't there, and the reviews aren't there.
Right. Okay, we'll keep an eye out next week and see how this movie will hold up or not.
Yeah.
Okay, how about we move along?
Okay.
To number 3, Strangers Prey at Night, which is sort of takes place in the same universe as The Strangers, but they don't have a Strangers 2. I'm not sure if they're related at all, right? But with the name, except with the name, the previous one stars Liv Tyler and is it Liv Tyler?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and Scott Speedman.
Yeah.
About mass killers, preying on, travelers.
Right.
This movie opened to 10.5 million, roughly. It's a bit better than where we had it. I said 5 million opening, and you said 8, so you were closer on this one.
Yeah, it's one of those, it's going to make money because the budget's probably pretty low. They didn't have any of the original stars. So this is actually probably better than what most people in the industry were expecting, and it's gonna make a profit.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I think the first one did pretty well. I think the first one opened to 20-some million or something like that.
Yeah, and then ended up finishing with like 50-something million.
Which is pretty decent.
Yeah, for a horror film. But this film released 10 years later, or or more or longer. I'm not. Again, we do real-time research here.
Which is just as accurate as people who've done them before. But you're right on that. Hey, this movie, they made this movie 10 years later, and when I first heard of this movie, so there was a prequel. There was another movie before. I never heard of it.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. I don't think they were expecting too much out of it because they made it so long afterwards. Nobody even remembered the first film, despite it doing decent. So 10.5 million is solid.
Yeah. More importantly, you're pretty close on this one on the projections.
Yeah, and I think I'll get closer when the weekend's done.
Okay. Right. All right. Number 4. Let's move along. Is Red Sparrow, the Jennifer Lawrence thriller. It pulled in 8.2 million roughly in the second weekend. But drop off is about 52%, and domestic gross is about 31 million.
At a budget of about 70 million, it's gonna disappoint. It's gonna need to pull in 140 worldwide to possibly break even. Right now, it's at 83 million worldwide. still has a ways to go. So kind of disappointing.
Yeah, but like I say, it hasn't opened that wide overseas yet. And I think I said this movie will do better overseas than here because, Jennifer Lawrence.
And, it's an international thriller.
Yeah. And, she looks pretty sexy in this one, right?
Well, she looks sexy in every one of her
Yeah,
movies.
But this one specifically, she's this femme fatale that uses her, body to get, to her mark.
Okay, right.
And, this one, gives people what they want to see. Like I say, it'll play better overseas than here. And from the looks of it, it is, because 62% of the worldwide box office is from overseas.
Yeah, so we'll see. Reviews were mixed. All mixed. 48% on Rotten Tomatoes. So half of the critics liked it, the other half didn't.
Right, and second weekend drop-off is already 52%. I don't expect good things for the third weekend as well. I think this movie will get buried, with the new releases later on, with Tomb Raider coming out,
Yeah, so we'll probably end up making like maybe 45 million total domestically, and you'll have to pull in 95 million overseas to break even.
Which I think it will.
It might, yeah.
Number 5, Game Night, pulled in about 8 million over the weekend.
Unlike Sparrow, this film is holding up really well.
Which is surprising, right?
Hey, the reviews were surprisingly good, 82% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, right. Okay, let's get through this. Drop-offs about 24% from this previous weekend. Domestic gross right now is 45 million. Budget is 37. And we said this movie is surprising is because it seems like one of these throwaway movies.
Right. And of all the films in the top 10, is the one that's holding up the best by far.
Better than Black Panther.
Yeah. It's getting good word of mouth, good reviews. One of those films about this latest whatever you call those things. You go into a room and you play some game type of things.
Yeah, it could be a movie of its time since we're not with the in crowd.
Yeah,
probably don't.
I did one of these with my siblings.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. How was it?
It was fun.
Was there any bodies that you go, chase a plane with your car?
No, it's more nerdy. It's like find the clue.
Okay.
No
blood splatter.
No, not.
Like you guys played the tame version of this one. Yeah.
You know how it's like. We played a real life version of it. You see how I remember seeing something on Twitter of how programmers are portraying movies where they're constantly cranking out code and screens are popping up left and right, and there's like, and then in real life it's just like and then you type in a few code and then it doesn't work, so then you go on Google and search for why it doesn't work.
Right. Well,
a lot more boring.
Version.
This is a movie version.
Yes. It's supposed to be enhanced, right? It's supposed to look special and not boring. You pay money to be entertained, and you're not paying money to see someone code.
Right. All right. So anyway, Game Night doing surprisingly well, holding up surprisingly well, and pretty good and very good reviews. Certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, and we said that Jason Bateman, despite his fame, I guess, or infamy, he's pretty consistent with his comedies. Yeah,
and a lot of critics mention, or at least some critics mention, what an underrated comedian Rachel McAdams is. We don't see her in that many comedies, but a decent number of critics notice her comedic chops. That she can do more than act and be the romantic lead.
Right, eye candy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the surprise movie of this month or last month.
Right.
Let's move on to number 6, Peter Rabbit. It pulled in 6.8 million over the weekend. Continues to hold it well, 32% drop off from the previous weekend. Domestic gross is 93 million so far, and it's nearing 100 million.
Yeah, it's almost doubling its budget domestically.
Yep. And worldwide it's at 119 million.
Right.
I don't think it opened that wide overseas yet. So that's why the overseas take is only 26 million.
Yeah, so it's kind of like Paddington of the year. Except it's, the foreign tickets, we'll have to see how well it does overseas. Paddington did really well overseas. I think the first film did almost 200 million, over 200 million overseas. So this one still has a ways to go overseas, but it's doing better business domestically.
Yes, yes, and we care about the domestic box office. And it should be what Paddington 2 is doing, right? I mean,
yeah, domestically it should be what Paddington 2 should be doing. But overseas, Paddington 2 is at 177 million overseas.
But give it time. Peter Rabbit hasn't opened that wide yet, so who knows?
We'll see, but I'm not sure if it can do as well.
Okay, yeah. I mean, although Paddington 2 or Paddington has the bigger brand, better recognition, because there was a movie before, Paddington, and it did really well reviewed. I think the second movie is even better reviewed than the first one.
Right.
But it just sunk like a rock here. Nobody cared about it here.
Hey.
Hey, all right. We got that.
The Weinstein, they bashed everything. It was a Weinstein Company movie, and they couldn't market it. They just do it at WB, and WB do it out there.
Okay.
Imagine if you had the Weinstein brothers at their peak marketing this, Paddington 2. It would have been in the Oscars. It would have been Best Picture material. It would have,
But we now know how Harvey, the Weinstein got their nominations, right? I mean, they're strong arm tactics, right? So who knows, right? More skeleton in the closet.
Yeah.
More stuff to come out.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Paddington. That they kind of got lumped into this, the whole Weinstein Company deal. Anyway.
Speaking of the Weinstein, right? The company's being sold.
I think that
after
the latest news is someone pulled out.
No, they pulled out and they're gonna declare bankruptcy, but they came together with a deal.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so it's being sold. All right, let's move on since we're short on time to number 7, Death Wish. It put in about 6.6 million over the weekend. Drop off is about 49%. Domestic gross right now is 23.9 million. Then the movie didn't open as well as I expected to, but you said you were projecting lower, so it's about where you had it.
Yeah, so it looks like it'll probably do a little bit better than its 30 million budget domestically, which is not bad because I'm sure this movie with Bruce Willis in the lead will do really well overseas. So I think they're going to make a profit on this.
Yeah, definitely. But for domestically, right? I expect this movie to perform better, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's written by Joe Carnahan. As a Bruce Willis action movie.
Mm-hmm.
Death Wish. Man, just been on revenge,
mm-hmm.
right? You expect these type of movies to do better because previously like the John Wicks, these revenge movies did pretty well. But as you said, probably they didn't. This movie didn't bring anything new to this entire genre.
Yeah, and with Bruce Willis, you expect more mass mayhem. But, it's also bad timing, too, with all the mass shootings and stuff. I'm not sure if people want to see...
Yeah, the gun debate, not a good time to release.
Yeah.
And I said that, it might not have an effect, but it might.
Yeah, right. All right, let's move on to the most interesting movie in our list. At number 8, The Hurricane Heist. By Rob Cohen of Triple X and the Fast and Furious films. And it completely tanked. It completely did the kind of business that you would expect a high-budget direct-to-video movie to make, which is $3.2 million.
But you said, you were kind of prophetic in this movie. You said it looks like a better-looking direct-to-video title.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. But what number was I projecting?
Oh, you were actually pretty high on this movie. You said 8 to 10, and I say 8.
Yeah.
Because.
Yeah, and it did worse than that. But you know what? I bet this is on a lot of people's to-watch list on streaming. You cannot not watch a heist movie that being taken place during a hurricane and having a hurricane will pretty much sweep everything up.
Yeah, it's one of these concepts which is really, it could go either way, right? It's like it could be stupid good or stupid bad.
Yeah.
And, because, hey, a heist that takes place during a hurricane, right?
I mean, look at Sharknado. Sharknado's at number 5. I think they're going to probably go on and on.
Right, but you said that, people might watch it on TV, right? Yeah. But they might not pay money to watch it in theaters.
It's one of those movies... that's just too stupid to go out and watch. Like, you don't want to say, hey, I'm going out to watch Hurricane Heist. But when it's on streaming and nobody notices and you're not sharing your Netflix account, so people can't see what you're watching, even your family members.
Right.
You'll probably watch this.
Maybe, but maybe this movie is missing something, like sharks, right?
Maybe.
Right. So that's why the box office is, it is.
But I don't think Sharknado would do any kind of business in theaters.
Probably better than 3.2
I
million,
don't think
right?
so. I highly doubt it. It's just
right.
one of those movies that you're like, ooh, I gotta watch this on TV.
Never heard that before, but yeah, I need to watch this on TV.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna pay for it.
Right. Okay, yeah, but we said this movie didn't star anybody that would draw in a crowd, but it has a named director, right? Rob Cohen, who did the Triple X movie, Fast and Furious, right? Dragonheart.
They're decent. His films have made money in the past. He's kind of a commercial director.
High budget director. From a couple years back, but now he got the Hurricane Heist, and I expect this movie to be, the budget's 35 million. So as you said, it might not do well here.
Yeah, it looks better than a $35 million movie. It looks like a typical $100 million Rob Cohen movie. So I'm surprised that they were able to do it so cheaply.
Oh, maybe there's only one scene of the hurricane, and the rest is just like fans and water spraying.
Could be.
Water hoses. But they made it, stretch that money.
Yeah, we're probably seeing the 35 million in that 2-minute trailer and no more.
Right, that's all they need, right? Yeah. They need people to pay money, and they couldn't get a refund. Right. So that's what they're counting on.
Right, and people are pretty smart about it. They're like, we're not being conned into watching this movie.
Right. Okay, all right. So that's the Hurricane Heist. It completely bombed. Disappointed.
Yeah.
Right.
Not surprisingly.
Yep. All right. Number 9 is Annihilation. The I always forget her name.
Natalie
Portman. Yeah. Sci-fi
action
movie.
Yeah.
Pulled in about same thing, about 3.2 million.
Yeah.
Drop off is about 44% from the previous weekend. It's struggling to get to 30 million. Right now it's only domestic gross is 26 million.
Yeah. From Alex Garland, the director of Ex Machina, which was another a sci-fi movie that's pretty high acclaim, critically acclaimed sci-fi movie. It's well reviewed, but it's not doing the kind of business that they were probably hoping for.
Or perhaps it could be that it did about Natalie Portman business.
Yeah.
Natalie Portman is not a huge draw in the first place. I mean, she has her indie movies that makes about this much.
Yeah.
In the 40 million range, and it'll probably get to around that when it's all said and done, right?
Right.
At least domestically.
Yeah. Too bad. 87% on Rotten Tomatoes. Pretty well reviewed.
Yeah, but like I said, it looks like a confusing movie, and people might not want to go out to watch that kind of movie when.
Well, I'm not sure if it's a confusion. It's more like people are not, accepting Natalie Portman in a predator role.
Right.
I mean, she's not Arnold. Pretty
That's pretty obvious, but yeah, she's not this macho type.
Yeah.
To carry, to lead a team of scientists.
Yeah.
To fight against aliens.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, not believable. All right, let's round out the top 10 with Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. Pulled in about 2.8 million over the weekend. Drop off is still, low, about 38% from the previous weekend. Domestic gross right now is 397 million. Looks like it's going to cross 400 million domestically. Worldwide, it's at 934 million.
Yeah, not sure if it'll get to a billion.
Yeah, it's slowing down overseas, especially. But hey, not bad at all, right? Budget's only 90 million. It's doing
fantastic.
Yeah, if they make a Jumanji 2, that'll probably cross $1 billion.
Yeah. Oh, they're definitely making Jumanji 2.
Right. And honorable mention is number 11, Gringo.
Right.
It's one of the new releases last weekend. Pulled in about 2.6 million.
Yeah, it's one of those misfires. Stars a bunch of Academy, Oscar-winning or Oscar-caliber actors, but they're all more popular for dramatic roles than comedies.
And we were wrong on our projection,
Okay.
Especially me. I had this movie opening at 15 million, and you said 8.
Right.
It has potential, but again, as you said, these people are not stars. They don't draw in crowds. They're known for character acting, right?
Well, I mean, they
supporting characters.
Yeah, they're not big draws now, but Charlize Theron did open Atomic Blonde. Joe Edgerton can open a decent amount of. Does have some drawing power. And the only problem with this is you have like we said, 4 actors who are more known for dramatic roles than comedies. I mean, if you're gonna do a comedy, you would expect them to at least have one comedian in the cast.
Right. If this is a drama, it might do better. Right. If this is a action thriller, it might do better.
Yeah.
But this is a comedy, and these guys and gals are not known for the comedic chops. Right.
I mean, they could at least get one comedian so that they can, he or she can throw stuff out at the other 3.
Right. At least people know that it's a comedy.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, that guy's in it. Or that gal's in it. It must be funny.
Yeah.
But but yeah. Okay. One of these misfires. That just didn't catch on.
Right.
All right. Let's move on to the new releases. We have 4 again. Right. Some we don't know how wide it is. We have 7 days in Entebbe.
Mm-hmm.
It's I think a country in Uganda or something like that, city or whatever. And then the Christian film I Can Only Imagine, about the Mercy Me singer, vocalist. Love, Simon, movie about a gay teenager. And then there's Tomb Raider.
Right. Where do you want to go?
Yeah, let's go down the list and save Tomb Raider for last, since that's the biggest movie of the new releases. Okay, 7 days in Entebbe. I believe it's based on true events, maybe. A group of kidnappers hijacked a plane and they diverted to Entebbe, which is a country, as I said, in Uganda, which is in Africa. And most of the people, the hostages, are Israelis. And the Israelis government sent out a group of a special team, a special force, to try to rescue them.
All right, I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, okay, all right. We did our research. Remember, research. It's released in 800 theaters or so.
Yeah, reviews are terrible.
Yeah, stars Daniel Bruhl, I think. Is that how you pronounce it? Bruhl?
Brun, I think Brun.
Yeah, Bruhl. Okay.
Brun, I think.
We'll go with that. And Rosamund Pike, directed by Jose Padilla. He did Narcos and Elite. A Mexican director. Well regarded.
Yeah, but it looks like he misfire here.
I think so too. So what are you thinking?
The reviews are terrible for a film like this. You need great reviews. It's getting 17% on Rotten Tomatoes at 12 reviews only, so it could move up, but usually, with early reviews, they tend to move down.
Yeah. Well, I have to speak. I have to speak in Padilla's, in defense, right? I think he's out of his element here. He mainly directed, Mexican movies, But this one is out of his element. I think this is an English language feature. Take place in Uganda. Not take place in Uganda, but about hostage situation, about Israelis, etc. So out of his element, I think.
Could be, but he's done. His filmography looks. He did RoboCop. Got mixed reviews. He did Elite Squad: The Enemy Within, which was very well reviewed, 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. So he's done an indie and then he's done a big budget film, and this is somewhere in the middle, and it's not working out.
Right. So what do you think the opening for this movie?
It's only opening in like 800 theaters, right?
Yep.
Yeah, the trailer looks pretty generic, so this might be one of those 3 million type movies.
Okay, I'm gonna go with 2 million or less.
Yeah.
How about we move on to I Can Only Imagine. So I think it's about Mercy Me's Christian band, lead vocalist Bart Miller's life. Him growing up in a troubled family. His mom left him and his father, and his father is kind of abusive, right? And he escaped and went on to have a singing career and tried to reconcile with his father.
Yeah.
Kind of uplifting. It says nationwide, the movie, but I don't think it's that wide. It's probably, in a couple hundred theaters,
Right. There's only one review on RT right now, and it's fresh.
Well, whatever. It's only one.
Yeah.
So, and I think this movie could have like a 3 million opening because, it looks like it sounds like an uplifting movie. And, the Christian crowd may turn out for this one.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to predict because they're making so many of these now. Pretty regularly now, so it's hard to see which one the Christian crowd will follow and which ones they'll support and which one they won't.
Right.
Yeah, this has the potential to do 8 to 10, but I'm kind of with you at 3.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know how wide this movie is. If it's opening in like 500 theaters, then its potential is limited. So I think it's open to 3. You say 8 to 10?
Yeah.
All right.
No, I'm sticking with you.
Oh, 3.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm saying it
right.
has the potential to do 8 to 10.
All right.
But I'm not putting my money on it.
Okay. All right. Love, Simon.
Mm.
It's a teenage story. Teenager, high school student. He's gay. And this movie about his story is finding love in as well.
Yeah, it's like nobody knows he's gay, and according to the trailer, I guess someone came out in a message board or chat and said that he too is gay, or she is also gay, but is kind of hiding the fact, and so I guess he's connecting with that person somehow.
At its core, it's a movie about accepting yourself, coming out,
right?
And I'm sure at the end, everyone at school accepts him as well.
Yeah, and the reviews are great. 23 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes so far, and it's at 91%. So it's a very well reviewed film.
And what do you think the box office opening will be?
It's kind of I'll just go with 8 to 10 because the reviews are great.
Yeah, I'm with you there as well. I think this movie, will have an opening, in the range of 8 to 10 as well. It's still a tough story, a tough, like homosexuality, even though it's accepted right now. I'm not sure the box office potential of a movie like this. So yeah, like I said, this is a movie about a gay character who's trying to find love and acceptance, and maybe could be a tough sell.
Yeah. I mean, even Call Me by Your Name, was it Call Me by Your Name or Call Me by My Name?
I think Call Me by Your Name.
Okay, yeah. So even that, despite all the acclaim, has only done like about 20 million or so. Yeah. So. But this isn't an indie. It's being released wide, so 8 to 10. If we can pull out those numbers, it's pretty good. Super well reviewed too, 91%.
Yeah, I think it's also by the producer of The Fault in Our Stars. So it's one of these again YA genre
right
movies.
Who knows? Maybe they'll rush out to see this one.
I doubt it.
All right. Okay.
All right. Tomb Raider.
Okay. This is a reboot of the Tomb Raider series. The Angelina Jolie one, directed by Simon Wells. Or is it Wells? The original ones.
I think it's Wells.
Yeah, Simon Wells, of Con fame. Angelina Jolie was pretty dependable as an action.
Oh, Simon West. Simon West.
Simon West.
Simon
right.
West. Okay.
Pretty dependable as a action star, but she's moved on to more recently more into directing, and they've been trying to reboot that franchise for a while, and Alicia Vikander is taking over. Also stars Daniel Wu, Kirsten Scott Thomas, and the reviews are mixed so far on RT. Only 10 reviews so far, 6 reviews so far. Like we said, these in terms of early reviews, it tends to drop more than go up.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
I mean, the original Tomb Raider films weren't well reviewed at all anyway.
Yeah, but Angelina Jolie, totally sold the movie. I'm talking about the first movie.
Yeah.
I didn't like any of the movies, by the way.
Yeah.
the first Angelina Jolie movie opened to 47 million, 131 million domestic, 274 million worldwide. Second one dropped.
Yeah.
About half, with a 21 million opening, 65 million domestic, and 156 million worldwide. Right.
Yeah, and the second one was directed by Wanda Bond, who did Speed and Twister. Oh wow, Gerard Butler was in the second Tomb Raider.
Yeah. I think he was the rival, bad guy or something like that.
I think. Interesting.
Yeah. So anyway, Tomb Raider, right? Popular video game.
Yeah.
Strong female protagonist lead.
Yeah.
The movie, again, like I said, I didn't like it.
Yeah, it's one of those things that fans wanted to like, but it didn't quite deliver, so they didn't turn out for the second one.
Yeah. Well, my complaint was mainly, Jolie's acting. Like she's one, not a care in the world. She's invincible.
Well, she was good. It's just it's more. I think it has more to do with the the script and everything. She was. Okay. I think she was great as Tomb Raider. It's just the script, the directing. It wasn't that great.
All right. So, how about the new Tomb Raider?
Well, they try to do a more edgier version of the the earlier one, more grounded, a lot more stunts and everything. Let's go with 18 million. My gut says 18 million.
Wow, 18 million. Okay, yeah, I'm not convinced that Vikander, can draw in the crowd here. We've seen the trailer again, real-time research here. Yeah. And she just doesn't have this charisma, this thing, and her co-stars, again, who are those guys? Dan Wu's in it, right? And that's a China play.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just lacking to me. I mean, I know this is a Tomb Raider movie. She's Lara Croft, but you take out the name, it sounds like one of these action movies. Like if you put in even I forgot her name again in Annihilation.
Natalie Portman.
Yeah, Natalie Portman in this role, right? She would fit right in.
No, I think Alicia Vikander is more believable in the action role than Natalie Portman.
Yeah, sure, but I'm saying it has the same look and feel that, even if you substitute Natalie Portman in it, I don't think this movie will be kind of like missing anything. Like that's how low, the wattage of Vikander is, I feel.
In terms of drawing power.
Yes. Yeah. So I think, like even if you interchange them, it won't, make a lick of difference. Mm-hmm. So I think, but it has a name, right? Tomb Raider, but I think it's going to underwhelm. I think this movie is probably going to open around 25 million.
Yeah, okay. According to the early reviews, the critics think there are only 6 so far. The handful of them think that Vikander is a pretty good way. Tomb Raider is just, the source, like the first film, the source material just isn't that interesting.
Right. And Tomb Raider, it's really like an Indiana Jones movie, right?
Yeah. Yep.
But like I said, Vikander is no Harrison Ford.
Well, who is?
Right? Yeah, sure. That's why they're not making another one.
Well, the thing is, it's not her fault though. People did say critics are saying she's a pretty good Tomb Raider, so it's not her fault. It's just the movie, the source material.
Sure. We'll go with that. Yeah. All right. But anyway, I'm saying, this movie's not it.
All right. So I'm going 18. You're going with 25.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll go with that. Tune in next week to see how we did.
All right.